Long before history was written, long before the names of kings and gods were carved into stone, there existed a world that did not need monuments to remember itself. It breathed through the roots of trees, whispered through rivers, and hid beneath a canopy so vast that even light struggled to find its way. That world was the Amazon, a realm of endless green. For centuries, explorers have called it wild, untamed, and eternal. But what if it was never as untouched as we thought? What if, hidden beneath the layers of soil and shadow, there once thrived a civilization as brilliant, as complex, and as mysterious as any in the ancient world? As always, I choose not to include ads in my videos, so you can relax and drift off peacefully without distractions after a long, busy day. It's more important to me that you rest well than to earn from ads. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you are listening from and what time you are now down below in the comments. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. Whether you're settling in for the night or just curious about where these legends came from, I'm glad you're here. Also, share which stories you'd love to hear next, and don't forget to subscribe and share it to someone who loves it too. The jungle keeps its secrets well. It swallows time and memory alike. Entire cities could vanish here, reclaimed by vines, erased by rain, and remembered only in legend. And for hundreds of years, that is exactly what it did. The stories told by the forest tribes, of lost cities made of white stone, of shining roads that led to nowhere, of gardens that fed thousands, were dismissed as myths, tales of gold and gods born from fevered dreams. But as the centuries passed, and as our tools for seeing the unseen improved, the jungle began to speak again. From the sky, satellites caught glimpses of strange shapes beneath the canopy. Perfect circles, squares, and lines stretching across miles of forest floor. Geometric ghosts, too ordered to be natural. And suddenly the impossible question rose once more. Could there have been a great civilization in the heart of the Amazon, one that built, cultivated, and lived in harmony with nature long before the first Spanish ship ever touched these shores? Tonight, we travel into that mystery. We journey through the living night of the jungle, through the whispers of rain, the rhythm of drums that echo from forgotten ages, and the breath of a world that remembers more than we do. For centuries, the Amazon was seen as a world without history, an endless ocean of green where nature ruled alone. Explorers entered its depths and returned broken, fevered, or never returned at all. The few who survived spoke of strange things, vast roads that cut straight through the jungle, villages larger than cities, and lands so fertile they could feed an empire. But their words were dismissed. Scholars of the time said it was impossible. No great civilization could exist in a place so wild, so wet, so unforgiving. The jungle, they said, was too hostile for man to master. And yet, as the modern age arrived and the eyes of science turned skyward, something remarkable happened. Satellites, high above the earth, began to see what the human eye never could. Beneath the thick green veil of the Amazon, patterns began to emerge. Geoglyphs, massive geometric designs carved into the ground. Circles and squares as precise as any city plan. Some were the size of football fields. Others stretched for miles, connected by long, straight lines that could only have been roads. There were hundreds of them, perhaps thousands, scattered across Brazil, Bolivia, and Peru. These were not the works of wandering tribes. They were deliberate, planned, and vast. Someone had shaped the forest long ago, creating a landscape that blended with nature, yet followed an invisible design. In the early 2000s, archaeologists began to confirm what those explorers of old had only imagined. Under the jungle surface lay the remnants of a civilization so large that it might have supported millions. Entire regions of the Amazon had once been cleared, cultivated, and settled, not through destruction, but through balance. They built raised roads, high enough to remain dry during floods. They carved canals that guided the waters like living veins. And they created cities, not of stone and mortar, but of wood, clay, and earth, built to breathe with the forest instead of fight it. It was a civilization that understood the rhythm of the Amazon, the rise and fall of its rivers, the cycles of its soil, the song of its seasons. They did not conquer the jungle, they listened to it. Archaeologists now believe that the people who built these cities might have existed for thousands of years, their origins lost in prehistory. They are known today by many names: the builders of the geoglyphs, the architects of Terra Preta, the forgotten engineers of the Amazon basin. But who they were and what they called themselves remains unknown. When Spanish explorer Francisco de Orellana first sailed down the Amazon River in 1542, he claimed to have seen vast cities along its banks. Cities with walls, gardens, and roads filled with people and culture. His account was laughed at for centuries. Historians said he must have imagined it, or mistaken tribal gatherings for urban centers. But now we know that Orellana may have been telling the truth. The jungle had hidden it all, not destroyed it, but cloaked it beneath its eternal green. Imagine for a moment what those cities must have looked like. At dawn, the fog curling above the treetops, fires burning in clay hearths as families prepared their morning meal, children running along wooden walkways built over the wet soil, priests or astronomers standing on mounds marking the path of the stars above, and somewhere deep within, a great meeting place, a circle carved from the earth where people gathered to speak, to celebrate, to pray. This was not the chaos of wilderness. It was order born of wisdom, a harmony between man and nature that modern civilization can scarcely imagine. The forest we see today is not the untouched wilderness we once thought it was. It is a garden, one left untended for centuries. Each tree, each river bend, each pocket of fertile land may have once been chosen, planted, and shaped by human hands. The Amazon is not only alive, it remembers. And beneath its roots, traces of that forgotten order still sleep. The lines of buried roads, the curves of ancient plazas, the footprints of a people who mastered life without ever waging war against the world around them. But even as we uncover their cities, one question grows louder than all the rest. How did they learn to live this way? How did they create a civilization so vast, yet so gentle, that the earth itself seemed to thrive beneath their touch? The answer may lie not in their temples or roads, but in the soil beneath their feet. And that takes us to the next part of the mystery, to the black earth of memory, the secret that allowed this lost civilization to flourish in the heart of the jungle for thousands of years. If you walk deep into the Amazon, far from the rivers and the noise of the modern world, you may stumble upon something strange. Patches of earth that look different from the rest. The soil here is dark, almost black, soft beneath your fingers, rich with life. Farmers call it terra preta, the black earth. To scientists, it is one of the greatest mysteries of the natural world. This soil should not exist. The Amazon's natural ground is thin, fragile, and poor in nutrients. Rain washes away its richness year after year, leaving behind red, exhausted clay. Yet somehow, these ancient black fields remain fertile, not for decades, but for centuries. Crops planted in terra preta grow faster, taller, and stronger. Even after hundreds of years, the soil never dies. It renews itself, as if it remembers how to stay alive. When researchers first studied it, they discovered something astonishing. Terra preta was not natural. It was made, created by human hands thousands of years ago. Whoever lived here understood something about the earth that we are only beginning to rediscover. They blended charcoal with clay and broken pottery, fish bones, and plant waste. But it wasn't just a simple mix of ingredients. It was chemistry, perfected through time. The charcoal they used, known as biochar, holds onto nutrients and water like a sponge. It prevents decay, traps carbon, and feeds the soil's smallest creatures, the bacteria and fungi that make all life possible. Somehow, these ancient people learned how to turn dead earth into living earth. They transformed the jungle itself into a vast breathing garden. Who taught them how to do this? Where did this knowledge come from? Knowledge so advanced that even modern science struggles to replicate it completely. It's as if the people of the Amazon had unlocked the secret code of nature, a harmony between the elements, earth, fire, water, and life, woven together with a precision that feels almost sacred. When archaeologists began to trace the spread of terra preta, they found it everywhere, scattered across millions of acres, sometimes forming vast networks connected by ancient roads. Each pocket of black earth told the same story. Here, once, people lived, cultivated, and thrived. They were not isolated tribes wandering through the forest. They were communities, organized and wise, masters of agriculture, ecology, and balance. They didn't fight against the jungle's chaos. They became part of it. Perhaps that is why their civilization endured for so long. While empires in other lands rose and fell through conquest, the people of the Amazon built an empire of living soil, one that grew quietly, invisibly, beneath the surface. But something happened, something that ended it all. The black earth remained, but the people who made it vanished. There are no grand temples left behind, no towering monuments or statues, only fragments of pottery, the faint outlines of roads, and this mysterious soil, as if the earth itself holds their memory. Some say their disappearance was slow, a fading rather than a fall. Others believe it was sudden, brought by outsiders, by disease and fire. When the first Europeans arrived in the 1500s, they carried with them invisible weapons, sicknesses that swept through the Amazon faster than any army. Within a generation, the great villages were gone. The jungle closed in once more, covering homes, fields, and memories in green silence. But the earth did not forget. Even now, beneath the roots and leaves, the soil breathes, ancient, black, and alive. A silent record of a people who understood the rhythm of the world far better than we do. Imagine walking through that forest centuries ago. Everywhere you step, the ground beneath your feet has been touched by human care. Every plant you see has been chosen, planted, nurtured. The forest itself was their creation, a living garden sustained by wisdom, not machines. And when they disappeared, the jungle did what it always does. It healed. It wrapped its arms around their cities, their fields, their lives, and kept them safe in its green embrace. But still, the question lingers. Where did they go? And could it be that they are not truly gone at all, but live on through the land they made eternal? Perhaps the forest remembers their touch. Perhaps the wind still carries their songs. Perhaps the birds that call out at dawn echo the voices of those who once sang here, long before we gave their world a name. The black earth is not just soil, it is a message, a reminder that civilization is not only measured in stone or steel, but in the harmony we leave behind. And as we look deeper into the Amazon, we begin to realize that this lost world was not a myth. It was real, alive, and far more advanced than we ever dared to believe. But if they could create living soil that never dies, and if their roads and cities stretched for miles through the jungle, then what else did they know? What deeper mysteries still sleep beneath the green sea of leaves? For centuries, the Amazonian civilization thrived in harmony with the forest. Villages grew into cities, roads stretched for miles, canals guided the rivers, and the black earth of memory fed the people. Life flowed with the rhythm of the seasons, and the jungle itself seemed alive with their presence. And then it disappeared. Not with the clamor of war, not with the collapse of towers or the roar of invaders, but silently, almost imperceptibly. The roads remained, the fields endured, and the soil still remembered, yet the people were gone. When the first European explorers entered the Amazon in the 16th century, they expected wilderness. They expected savages and untamed rivers. What they found, in Orellana's words, were hints of lost cities, streets, plazas, and cultivated lands. But these cities were already shadows of what had been. The forest had begun to reclaim its own. Disease followed. Smallpox, measles, and influenza spread faster than any army. Within decades, entire communities were wiped out. Their knowledge, their rituals, and their songs vanished almost entirely. But even before the Europeans arrived, some scholars believe that the disappearance had already begun. The climate shifted, rivers changed course, and the delicate balance of the forest was disturbed. Crops failed, populations dwindled, and the great cities faded into myth. Archaeologists now study the remnants of this vanished civilization, trying to piece together their lives from fragments of pottery, broken roads, and traces of raised fields. Every dig is a whisper from the past, a reminder that humans once lived here in numbers and sophistication we had long denied. Some of the cities were enormous. Some geoglyphs span miles. Some roads are still visible from the sky, straight as arrows, cutting through rivers and hills. These are not the works of a small tribe. These are the marks of a great people, a civilization that shaped its world and then vanished. Why did they vanish? Was it disease, climate change, conflict, or some combination of all? Perhaps they faced floods or droughts that made life impossible. Perhaps their knowledge could not save them from the slow encroachment of time. Yet their disappearance was not complete. The forest preserved their memory in soil, in the paths of rivers, in the echo of hills and valleys. It is as if the land itself refuses to let them be forgotten. And in the silence, the Amazon whispers their story. The trees grow taller, the vines twist tighter, and the rivers curve with memory. Even as the human cities faded, the patterns they created remain beneath the forest floor. Imagine walking through the jungle today. The sun barely reaches the ground. Every step you take is on soil that was nurtured by hands long gone. Every stream is guided by canals cut thousands of years ago. Every clearing may have once been a plaza, a garden, or a village square. This is not just nature reclaiming space. This is the ghost of civilization. A civilization that lived, thrived, and disappeared, leaving only whispers for us to follow. Some legends say that the people didn't vanish entirely. They retreated deeper into the forest, merging with smaller tribes, becoming one with the land. Others believe they foresaw their decline and chose to vanish rather than fight the inevitable. The truth is unknown, yet the traces they left behind, roads, canals, geoglyphs, black soil, tell us everything we need to know. They were brilliant, organized, and deeply connected to the world around them. And in that connection lies the greatest mystery of all. A civilization that could tame the forest, feed millions, and disappear without leaving chaos behind. As we move forward into our next part of our journey, we begin to wonder if they could shape the soil, map the rivers, and live in harmony with one of the wildest jungles on Earth. What other secrets might they have known? What knowledge was lost with their disappearance, waiting quietly beneath the canopy, like a dream half remembered? Even now, after centuries of study, the people of the Amazon remain a mystery. We see traces of their existence, the black earth, the geoglyphs, the ancient roads, but we cannot see them themselves. They are shadows, glimpses of a civilization that vanished before history could record it. And yet, the land remembers. Every line etched into the soil, every raised field, every canal tells a story. It speaks of knowledge so advanced that even today's scientists struggle to understand it. Some of these geoglyphs are enormous, straight lines stretching for miles, perfect circles, and intricate shapes carved into the forest floor. Seen from above, they form patterns that are almost mathematical, almost deliberate. Why were they made? Were they ceremonial, astronomical markers, maps, or something we have not yet imagined? One theory suggests that these lines were part of a sophisticated system of agriculture and water management. They connected villages, guided rivers, and helped cultivate the land. But the precision is extraordinary, as if the creators had a vision far beyond mere survival. And then there are the legends, passed down through the few surviving tribes of the Amazon. They speak of giant cities beneath the forest, of temples swallowed by vines, of roads that vanish under leaves but reappear when the earth is cleared. They speak of people who lived in harmony with the stars, who knew the rivers like veins in the body of the world. They speak of knowledge passed down in whispers, secrets that the forest guards jealously. Some researchers speculate that this civilization may have been part of a network that connected the Americas with other ancient cultures. Could it be that the knowledge of terra preta, of advanced agriculture, traveled across continents long before modern history began? The black earth itself is a clue. It is not just fertile, it is designed to last, to sustain life for millennia. It is almost as if these people anticipated the future, a civilization that thought beyond their own time, planting for generations they would never see. Yet for all we discover, the ultimate question remains. Who were they? Where did they come from? Were they the first people to truly master the jungle? Or did they inherit knowledge from an even older civilization, now lost to time? Archaeologists debate. Some suggest that this civilization developed independently, born from the ingenuity of the Amazon itself. Others whisper of influences from unknown lands, of travelers, explorers, or forgotten peoples who brought knowledge with them across oceans and rivers. And what of their disappearance? The jungle is forgiving, yet merciless. It hides what it chooses, and it slowly reclaims what is left behind. For every road uncovered, there are hundreds still buried. For every geoglyph revealed, countless more wait silently beneath the canopy. Perhaps that is why we cannot fully understand them. They did not vanish entirely. They chose to leave only traces, lessons written into the earth, challenges left for future generations to decode. The forest itself may be a library, each tree a page, each river a line of text, and we, the intruders, are only beginning to read. If we could learn their language, perhaps we could understand the true purpose of their cities, their black earth, their roads. Perhaps we could uncover the secrets of how they fed entire populations, maintained harmony with the jungle, and vanished without destroying the balance they had created. For now, their story is a question more than an answer, a mystery wrapped in green shadows and whispered through centuries of wind, a civilization that lived, thrived, and disappeared, yet left behind a record that refuses to fade. And as night falls over the Amazon, the black earth remembers. The geoglyphs, the roads, the canals, the fertile soil, all pulse with the memory of a people who once walked here, who understood the rhythm of the world in ways we are only beginning to imagine. So, as we leave the jungle for now, we carry with us a question. Could we ever walk in their footsteps fully, understand the wisdom they left behind, and learn to live as they once did, in harmony with the earth, the sky, and the stars? The answer may lie buried beneath the forest floor, waiting for someone patient enough to listen to the whispers of the past. The deeper we journey into the Amazon, the more the forest seems alive with memory. Every tree, every vine, every dark patch of soil is a whisper from the past, a fragment of knowledge left behind by a civilization long gone. This is the hidden knowledge, the lessons encoded not in books, not in monuments, but in the living world itself. The black earth, terra preta, is only the beginning. It tells us that these people understood chemistry and biology centuries before modern science could describe them. They knew how to enrich the soil, preserve nutrients, and create fertility that lasts for millennia. But their wisdom did not stop at agriculture. The patterns of their roads, the alignment of their geoglyphs, and the layout of their settlements suggest a deep understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and spatial planning. Some of the straight lines and geometric shapes etched into the forest floor correspond to celestial events. They may have been markers for solstices, equinoxes, or other astronomical cycles, a calendar carved into the earth itself. It is almost as if the Amazon was their laboratory, classroom, and temple all at once. They observed the stars and rivers, the movement of the sun and moon, and translated those patterns into roads, fields, and settlements. They connected the heavens and the earth in ways that still baffle modern researchers. Some anthropologists and archaeologists have begun to see something extraordinary. This civilization
may have been in touch with principles of ecology that we are only now rediscovering. They did not conquer the forest, they collaborated with it. They cultivated, guided, and maintained its balance, ensuring that every tree, plant, and river supported human life, and every human action supported the jungle. Perhaps that is why the forest has preserved their memory. Not because the people were stronger or taller, but because they understood balance, the flow of energy, life, and time. And some believe their knowledge may have extended beyond the physical world. The legends passed down speak of shamans and priests who could read signs in the stars, in the rivers, and in the growth of plants. They may have understood cycles of life and death, of growth and decay in ways that combined observation, mathematics, and intuition. Could it be that they discovered principles of sustainability, energy, and harmony that were lost to the rest of the world? Could the Amazon itself be the proof of a civilization that learned to live as one with nature, not against it? Some modern researchers believe that this knowledge is not gone entirely. It is hidden, encoded in the soil, the waterways, and the patterns of the forest. If we study it carefully, we may begin to understand what they knew, how they fed millions, how they thrived, and how they disappeared without leaving destruction behind. And yet there is a more profound mystery. Some scholars suggest that this civilization may connect to other ancient peoples around the world. The alignment of certain geoglyphs with celestial patterns mirrors knowledge found in distant lands. Could it be that this Amazonian civilization was part of a network of ancient cultures that shared wisdom across continents long before history recorded it? The evidence is sparse, yet tantalizing. Fragments of tools, pottery, and settlement layouts suggest a sophistication that rivals other ancient civilizations. Yet theirs was hidden beneath the jungle, invisible to the world until modern science began to uncover it. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Civilization is not only built with stone or steel. It can be built with soil, water, and observation. It can be encoded in patterns aligned with the stars and preserved in harmony with nature. And sometimes the greatest knowledge is the one that disappears, leaving only traces, whispers, and questions for us to follow. The hidden knowledge of the Amazon reminds us that humans are capable of wonders beyond what we often believe. It challenges us to rethink our relationship with the earth, to see wisdom not only in books, but in soil, rivers, and the stars above. And as night falls over the jungle, we can almost hear their voices in the rustle of leaves, feel their hands in the richness of the black earth, and glimpse their vision in the patterns that still endure. Perhaps one day, by listening carefully enough, by walking softly through the forest, we may begin to understand And perhaps the secrets of this vanished civilization are not lost at all, only waiting for the patient to uncover them, waiting for the world to remember again.
As we leave the hidden knowledge behind, the forest begins to tell another story. A story of echoes, of time itself, carrying the whispers of the vanished civilization across centuries. The people of the Amazon may have disappeared, but their influence did not vanish entirely. It lingers in the soil, in the rivers, in the paths of the ancient roads. It echoes in the stars, which they watched with the same curiosity and reverence that guided every step of their lives. Some say that the jungle itself is a living memory of their existence. Every towering tree, every hidden waterway, every fertile patch of black earth is a testament to a people who understood balance in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. And perhaps that balance is the secret they left for us, a reminder that civilization does not need to conquer, destroy, or dominate to endure. It can thrive in harmony, in cycles, in alignment with the natural world. Across the world, other ancient civilizations also left traces of knowledge. Pyramids, temples, astronomical charts, mathematical systems, and yet, here in the Amazon, the forest preserves its secrets in ways that are alive, breathing, and constantly evolving. Could it be that the vanished people of the Amazon were part of a larger story, a story that spans continents, oceans, and ages, a story of humans learning, observing, and recording the patterns of life, of Earth, and of the cosmos? Some archaeologists and historians speculate that the knowledge encoded in the Amazonian civilization may have influenced other ancient peoples, a quiet, invisible thread weaving through the tapestry of human history. Their rivers, roads, and fields were more than practical. They were deliberate, symbolic, and possibly spiritual. They mirrored the cycles of the stars, the rhythm of the seasons, and the balance of life itself. And today, as scientists, explorers, and dreamers uncover fragments of their world, we begin to see the patterns they left behind. Patterns in the soil, in the sky, and in ourselves. Patterns that remind us that humanity's story is far older, far deeper, and far more mysterious than we often believe. Perhaps the greatest lesson of this vanished civilization is not what they built, but what they taught. That knowledge, wisdom, and balance can endure beyond the lives of those who first discovered them. That even when people disappear, their understanding of the world can ripple through time, waiting for those who are willing to listen. So tonight, as the jungle breathes quietly under the stars, remember the people who once walked here. Remember the roads, the plazas, the fertile fields, and the celestial patterns they observed. Their story is both a mystery and a guide, a reminder that the world has hidden wonders, that knowledge can be preserved in the most unexpected ways, and that even a vanished civilization can still teach us how to live in harmony with the earth. And as you close your eyes, imagine walking through the forest with them, feeling the black earth beneath your feet, listening to the whispers of a civilization that continues to speak through the leaves, the rivers, and the stars above. Perhaps in their memory, we find a path forward, a path not only to understand the past, but to honor it, to learn from it, and to carry its wisdom into the future. Good night.